The white silk of Elowen's gown pools around her swollen
Should
ankles as she
should
stands
we wait a bit
frozen at the
longer?
altar, one hand pressed against her 8-month belly, the other clutching her phone. The cathedral's stained glass windows cast fractured rainbows across empty pews. 200 seats, not a single guest. Her thumb hovers over Elias's contact. 5th call. 5th time it rings into the void. Ms. Hart? The wedding coordinator's heels click against marble. Should we wait a bit longer? Elowen doesn't answer. Can't answer. Her eyes fix on the archway where Elias should have appeared an hour ago, where he should have walked through with that crooked smile, apologizing for being late, for making her worry, for her phone buzzes. Not a call, a text. From Elias. Her heart lurches. Finally, an explanation. Her fingers tremble as she opens the message. Deal's done. Wire transfer confirmed. Tell Marcus I'll handle the Hart situation by morning. She won't be a problem. Elowen reads it once, twice, 3 times. The words don't change. Hart situation. She won't be a problem. The phone slips from her fingers, clattering against stone. She hears the coordinator gasp, sees the woman rush forward, but it's like watching through water. The cathedral spins. Those beautiful stained glass saints now blurring into mocking streaks of color. Her knees buckle. Strong hands catch her, the coordinator and someone else, maybe the priest. They guide her to the front pew, their voices distant, concerned, meaningless. Ms. Hart, we should call someone. Is there family we can contact? Should we call an ambulance? Elowen's hand moves to her belly, to the life growing inside her. Elias's child, the man who just called her a situation to be handled. The baby kicks, hard, as if sensing her mother's terror. What did you do, Elias? What the hell did you do? She bends forward, breathing through the panic, through the betrayal burning in her chest like acid. The coordinator crouches beside her, hand on her shoulder, and Elowen wants to scream at her to stop touching her, to leave her alone, to let her shatter in peace. But then her phone buzzes again from the floor where it fell. The coordinator picks it up, glances at the screen, and her face goes pale. Ms. Hart, there's another message. Elowen snatches the phone. And make sure you delete everything. The documents, the signatures, all of it. No trace back to us. Documents. Signatures. Elowen's designer training kicks in, the same analytical mind that can envision a room's potential now racing through every paper Elias ever asked her to sign. The business loan forms, the investment portfolios, the property deeds. What did I sign? Her fingers fly across the phone screen, opening her banking app. The joint account they'd created for the wedding, for their future, for empty, zero balance. $200,000. Gone. The cathedral's vaulted ceiling seems to press down, those soaring arches becoming a tomb. Elowen's breath comes in short, sharp gasps. The baby kicks again, more insistent now, and she forces herself to breathe deeper. She can't fall apart. Not here, not now, not when she's just realized the man she loved never existed at all. She scrolls frantically through Elias's message thread, looking for something, anything. And there, 3 messages up, sent at 2 a.m. last night while she was sleeping. A number she doesn't recognize. Tomorrow, Cathedral District, noon. Elias's reply, confirmed, she'll be there. Elowen's blood turns to ice. He planned this. Every moment. The wedding, the timing, her standing here alone and vulnerable. This wasn't cold feet or last-minute panic. This was orchestrated abandonment. Her hands shake as she takes a screenshot of the unknown number. The coordinator is still talking, still asking questions, but Elowen is already standing, already moving, the heavy gown dragging behind her like a shroud. Ms. Hart, please, you shouldn't be alone right now. But Elowen is already walking down the aisle, past the wilting flower arrangements, past the untouched champagne tower, past the future she thought she'd have. Outside, snow begins to fall. The cold hits Elowen's face like a slap. She stands on the cathedral steps, wedding gown soaking up snow, watching taxis pass without seeing them. Her phone burns in her palm. That message, that number, that confirmation that Elias set her up. She'll be there. Like she was livestock, a transaction. Something to be delivered and discarded. Her thumb hovers over the unknown number from Elias's messages. The rational part of her brain, the part not drowning in betrayal, whispers that this is dangerous, that whoever this number belongs to is connected to whatever Elias has done, that contacting them could make everything worse. But worse than what? Worse than standing pregnant and abandoned with an empty bank account. Worse than realizing the father of her child is a criminal who used her signature for God knows what. She taps the number, opens a new message. Her fingers hover over the keyboard. What do I even say? A contraction ripples across her belly. Not labor, just Braxton Hicks, her OB called them. Practice contractions. Her body preparing for what's coming. If only she could prepare for this. She types, "Who are you? What deal did Elias make?" Her thumb hovers over send. She deletes it. Too aggressive. Too desperate. She tries again. "This is Elowen Hart. I need to know what's happening." Delete. "Please, I'm pregnant and alone and I don't understand what..." Delete. 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 The snow falls harder now, gathering in her pinned-up hair, melting against her neck. She's shaking from cold or shock. She can't tell anymore. A couple walking past stares at her, at the wedding dress, at her obvious distress, but they keep walking. Of course they do. Who wants to get involved in someone else's disaster? Her phone buzzes. Not from the unknown number. From her best friend, Maya. "OMG, are you married? Send pics." Elowen's vision blurs. She blinks hard, forcing the tears back. She can't cry. Not yet. Not until she understands what's happened. She opens her message thread with Elias, scrolling back through weeks of texts, love messages, planning messages, excitement about the baby. And there, tucked between "can't wait to marry you" and "our little family starts tomorrow," a message from 4 days ago that she'd barely noticed. Had to sign some last-minute paperwork. Left it on the kitchen counter. Just need your signature on the highlighted lines. She'd signed without reading. Of course she had. She trusted him. They were getting married. You don't interrogate your fiancé's paperwork when you're planning a wedding and growing a human. What did I sign? Her phone buzzes again. Maya, persistent. "Hello? You're killing me. Is he crying? Tell me he cried." Elowen's laugh comes out broken, bitter. Oh, Maya. Sweet, optimistic Maya who helped her pick out this dress, who threw her a baby shower, who believed in the fairy tale. She types, "He didn't show up." 3 dots appear immediately, disappear, appear again. "What?" "I'm coming to get you." "Where are you?" "Elowen, answer me." But Elowen is staring at that unknown number again. At the last message Elias sent to them. Confirmed. She'll be there. Whoever this is, they expected her at the cathedral. They were part of whatever plan Elias executed, which means they might have answers. Before she can second guess herself, she types, "I know about the deal. I need help. Please." Her thumb hits send before her brain can stop it. The message shows as delivered. Then, after 3 agonizing seconds, read. Someone is typing. Elowen's heart hammers against her ribs. The baby shifts inside her, pressing against her bladder, reminding her of how vulnerable she is. How stupid this might be. The typing stops. Starts again. Stops. Finally, a message appears. Who is this? Not what she expected. Elowen's frozen fingers fumble as she types, "Elowen Hart. Elias crosses. Fiancé. He left me at our wedding. I found your number in his phone. I need to know what he's done." 30 seconds of nothing. Then, "How did you get this number?" Fear spikes through her chest. "I told you. His phone. He left messages about a deal. About me being a situation to handle. Please, I'm pregnant. I don't understand what's happening." Her phone rings. The unknown number, calling her directly. Elowen stares at the screen. Snow gathering on the glass. Every instinct screams at her not to answer. This could be anyone. Could be dangerous. Could make everything so much worse. But she's already at rock bottom, isn't she? She answers. Lifts the phone to her ear. "Hello?" A man's voice, low and controlled, with an accent she can't quite place. Korean, maybe, but smoothed by years of English. "Ms. Hart, I need you to listen very carefully. Where are you right now?" The cathedral. St. Mary's? Are you alone?" Something in his tone makes her look around. Suddenly paranoid. The street is busy with Sunday afternoon traffic. Normal people living normal lives. There are people around. Why? Get somewhere public. A coffee shop, a restaurant, somewhere with witnesses. Witnesses. What? Elias Cross is not who you think he is. The man's voice drops lower. And if you have information he needs hidden, you might not be safe. The world tilts. Who are you? Elowen whispers. A pause. Then, someone who can help. If you want answers, meet me in 1 hour. There's a hotel lobby 2 blocks south of the cathedral, the Grand Meridian. Don't go home first. Don't contact anyone else. And Ms. Hart? Yes? Come alone. The line goes dead. The Grand Meridian's lobby gleams with old money. All marble columns and crystal chandeliers and leather furniture that costs more than Elowen's rent. She sits in an armchair near the fireplace, wedding dress hidden beneath the long winter coat a kind doorman lent her after she stumbled in looking like a drowned bride. Her hands wrap around untouched coffee, watching every person who enters through the revolving doors. 45 minutes since the call, 15 until the hour is up. She should have called Maya back, should have called the police, should have done literally anything except meet a stranger who knows her disappeared fiancé. But the police can't tell her why Elias used her, can't explain what she signed or where her money went or who wanted her at that cathedral. The stranger might. Her phone sits on the table beside her coffee cup. Message thread still open to that unknown number. She'd tried calling back 3 times during the walk here. No answer. No more texts. Just that final warning. Come alone. The baby kicks, as if reminding her how spectacularly stupid this decision is. I know, she whispers, hand on her belly. Your mom's an idiot. Add it to the list. A man enters through the revolving doors. Elowen notices him immediately, not because he's looking for her, but because everyone notices him. He moves like he owns the space, tall and lean in a charcoal suit that probably costs more than her car. His dark hair is styled back, revealing sharp features and a jawline that could cut glass. But it's his eyes that make her breath catch. Dark, calculating, scanning the lobby with the precision of someone trained to assess threats. He's Asian, Korean maybe, with tattoos just visible above his collar. Not the kind you get in a suburban parlor. The kind that means something, marks something. Their eyes meet across the lobby. He doesn't smile, doesn't nod, just changes direction, walking straight toward her with the confidence of a man who's never been told no. Elowen's heart hammers. This is him, she knows. It in her bones. He stops in front of her chair, studying her with an intensity that makes her want to shrink into the leather. Up close, she can see the tattoos extend down his neck. Intricate patterns she doesn't recognize but somehow understands mean danger. Ms. Hart? Not a question. His voice is the same from the phone. Accented, controlled, dangerous. You're the one who called. Also not a question. He glances at the wedding dress peeking out from under the borrowed coat. Something flickers in his expression. Not sympathy exactly, but acknowledgement. I am. My name is Han Seung-jun. He gestures to the chair across from her. May I sit? The formality catches her off guard. She nods. Han sits with the same controlled precision he used walking. His eyes never leave her face, reading her the way she used to read blueprints. You said Elias Cross left you at your wedding, that you found my number in his phone. Yes. Her voice comes out steadier than she feels. He sent you messages about a deal, about me being a situation to handle. The message said, she'll be there, talking about me at the cathedral. Your number was the address. Han's jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. Show me. Elowen picks up her phone with shaking hands, pulls up the screenshot she took and slides the phone across the table. Han reads in silence. His expression doesn't change, but something shifts in the air around him. A coldness that makes the fireplace heat feel inadequate. These messages, he says finally, voice carefully neutral, were not sent to me. Elowen blinks. What? This number. It belongs to someone in my organization. Someone who handles certain transactions. He looks up from the phone, eyes hard. Someone who would have no legitimate reason to communicate with your fiancé unless Elias was involved in activities that would interest my associates. Organization. Transactions. Associates. The words are careful, deliberate, but their meaning crashes over Elowen like ice water. She can't say it, can't make it real. I'm someone who solves problems, Han says quietly, and I think, Ms. Hart, that Elias Cross has created a very serious problem. For you, and possibly for me. I don't understand. I'm an interior designer. Elias works in finance. We were just normal people planning a normal life. Were you? Han leans forward slightly, and Elowen catches the scent of expensive cologne and something else. Cigarette smoke, maybe, or danger. Think carefully. Did Elias ever ask you to sign documents you didn't read? Open bank accounts in your name? Meet people he called business associates but never fully explained? Elowen's mouth goes dry. The paperwork 4 days ago. The joint account he insisted on opening for wedding expenses. The dinner party 3 months ago with men in expensive suits who asked her about her family's property in Montana, the land her grandmother left her. Oh, God, she whispers. Han nods slowly as if she's just confirmed something. Elias Cross used you, Ms. Hart. Used your name, your signatures, your access to assets. The question is why, and whether the people he's working with know you're a loose end. Loose end. The words hang between them like a death sentence. The money, Elowen says suddenly. Our joint account. $200,000. It's gone. Wiped out completely. 200,000. Han's expression doesn't change, but she sees his mind working, calculating. That's not a wire transfer. That's a payment for services or silence or both. Services, Elowen's voice cracks. What services? I don't. The baby kicks hard and she gasps, hand flying to her belly. Han's eyes drop to her stomach, and for the first time, something like emotion crosses his face. When are you due? 4 weeks, maybe less. The doctor said first babies can come early, especially with stress, and she's babbling now, the reality crashing down. I'm 8 months pregnant. My fiancé abandoned me at my wedding. My money is gone, and you're telling me I might not be safe. You're not safe, Han corrects quietly, but you're also not alone anymore. Elowen laughs. A broken sound. I don't even know you. For all I know, you're part of whatever Elias did. You could be the one who, if I wanted to hurt you, Ms. Hart, you would already be hurt. The statement is matter of fact, not threatening. You called for help. Accidentally, yes, but you called. And now that I know Elias is using my organization's contacts without authorization, this becomes my problem too. Your organization. Elowen meets his eyes. Say it. Tell me what you really are. Han holds her gaze for a long moment. Then, with deliberate care, I'm someone powerful people call when they have problems that can't be solved through legal channels. Does that answer your question? You're a criminal. I'm a businessman with unconventional methods. That's the same thing. Perhaps. Han leans back and the movement reveals more of his tattoos. They snake down his wrists, disappearing under expensive cufflinks. But right now, Ms. Hart, I'm also the only person who can help you find out what Elias did and why he needed you out of the picture. So you have a choice. Trust me, or try to navigate this alone while 8 months pregnant and broke. It's not really a choice at all. Elowen looks down at her belly, at the life depending on her to make smart decisions. Then back at Han Seung-jun, this dangerous stranger who somehow feels more honest than the man who left her at the altar. What do we do? She asks. Han's lips curve into something that's almost a smile. First, you tell me everything about Elias Cross, and then I make some calls. Han's office turns out to be a penthouse suite 3 floors above the lobby. Elowen follows him into the elevator, hyper aware of how absurd she must look. Pregnant woman in a borrowed coat over a wedding dress, trailing after a tattooed man in a $3,000 suit. The elevator attendant doesn't even blink. Whatever he's seen in this hotel, apparently this doesn't register. The suite is exactly what she'd expect. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, minimalist furniture that probably has names she can't pronounce, and an openness that feels both luxurious and sterile, like a showroom, a place for conducting business, not living. Han shrugs off his jacket, revealing more tattoos up his arms, intricate designs that look East Asian in origin, mixed with script she doesn't recognize. He drapes the jacket over a chair with careful precision, then moves to a laptop on the glass desk. Sit, he says, not unkindly, gesturing to the leather sofa. You need to be off your feet. Elowen wants to argue that she's not that pregnant, that she's fine, but her ankles are swelling and her back aches, and honestly, she's too exhausted to fight. She sinks into the sofa with less grace than she'd like. Han doesn't sit. He opens the laptop, fingers flying across the keyboard with surprising speed. Elias Cross. Spell the last name. Crossy. Because I'm going to find out who he really is. Han's eyes stay fixed on the screen. Date of birth? March 15th, 1989. Where did you meet? At a gallery opening. 2 years ago. I was there scouting pieces for a client's home and he... She trails off, remembering that night. How charming Elias had been. How attentive. How he'd seemed genuinely interested in her work, her dreams, her life. He said he was in private equity, that he managed investments for high net worth clients. Private equity. Han's voice is neutral, but his typing speeds up. Did he ever introduce you to these clients? No. He said confidentiality was important in his line of work, that wealthy people valued their privacy. Convenient. The word stings because it's true. How many times did she accept that excuse? How many questions did she not ask because she didn't want to seem jealous or controlling? There, Han says suddenly. He turns the laptop toward her. Is this him? Elowen leans forward, looking at the screen. It's a corporate headshot. Elias in a suit, smiling that familiar smile. But the name underneath reads, Elias Hartman, Junior Associate, Rothschild and Klein Investments. That's him, she confirms. But the last name, wrong. Han turns the laptop back. Elias Hartman, not Cross. He's listed as terminated from this firm 18 months ago for, his eyes scan quickly, irregularities in client account management. That's corporate speak for theft. 18 months ago, 3 months before they got engaged. Keep going, Elowen whispers. Han's fingers fly across the keyboard. The click-clack fills the silence, punctuated only by Elowen's shallow breathing. Outside the windows, the city stretches in every direction. Thousands of lit windows, each one a life she's not living. A normal Sunday evening she'll never have. He has a record, Han says finally. Sealed, but I have access to, let's say, comprehensive databases. 3 years ago, he was questioned in connection with a money laundering investigation. No charges filed. 2 years before that, his name appeared in documents related to a real estate fraud scheme. Again, no charges. How is that possible? How does someone... Have you heard the term cleaner, Ms. Hart? She shakes her head. In my world, a cleaner is someone who makes problems disappear. Evidence, witnesses, paper trails. Elias isn't a cleaner, but he works with them. He's what we call a front. Someone with a clean enough record to interface with normal society while conducting business for less presentable associates. Elowen's stomach turns. What kind of business? Han closed the laptop and moves to sit across from her in an armchair. His elbows rest on his knees, hands clasped, and for the first time, he looks almost sympathetic. Almost. You said he had you sign paperwork 4 days ago. Do you remember what it was? No, I signed where he highlighted. He said it was insurance stuff for the wedding, liability waivers for the venue or something. May I see your phone? She hands it over, watching as Han navigates through her email with practiced ease. He finds something, his expression darkening. Ms. Hart, you didn't sign insurance paperwork. You signed a quitclaim deed. A what? A legal document transferring your property rights. In this case, he shows her the email, forwarded from some title company she's never heard of. You signed over the deed to your grandmother's property in Montana. 200 acres, according to this. Currently valued at approximately $8 million. The room spins. $8 million. Her grandmother's land. The ranch she spent summers at as a child. The place. She always planned to take her own children someday. No, she breathes. No, that's not. I didn't. The notary's signature is forged, Han continues, voice flat and factual. The witnessing is fraudulent, but that doesn't matter if the new owner moves quickly to sell to a third party. By the time you discover the fraud and fight it in court, the property could be sold, funds dispersed, and the trail cold. Elias, she whispers. Not just Elias. Look at the new owner's name. She forces her eyes to focus on the screen. The print is small, legalistic, but there in black and white. Property transferred to Mountain Ridge Holdings, LLC. Authorized representative, Marcus Volkov. Marcus. The name from Elias's text. Tell Marcus I'll handle the Hart situation by morning. Who is Marcus Volkov? She asks, though part of her doesn't want to know. Han's jaw tightens. A very dangerous man. Russian-born, naturalized American, with ties to organized crime in 3 continents. He specializes in real estate acquisition, sometimes legal, usually not. If he has your property, Ms. Hart, he's planning to use it for something that requires clean land with minimal oversight. Like what? Money laundering through property flipping, drug processing facilities, human trafficking way stations. Han's voice remains even, clinical, but his eyes show something darker. Men like Volkov don't buy rural Montana property for the views. Elowen's hand moves to her belly reflexively. The baby kicks, strong and insistent. She thinks about explaining this to her child someday. Your father stole your great-grandmother's land to help traffickers. Oh, and he abandoned us at the altar. I need to throw up, she says. Han points toward a door. Bathroom, second left. She makes it just in time. When she returns, pale and shaking, Han has poured her a glass of water and set out what looks like fancy crackers on a plate. The gesture surprises her. Somehow she didn't expect a crime boss to keep pregnancy snacks on hand. Ginger, he says, gesturing to the crackers. They help with nausea. My sister was pregnant last year. I learned a few things. Elowen takes a cracker, chewing mechanically. Your sister? Is she in your line of work? She's a pediatrician in Seoul. Han's lips quirk. Some of us escape the family business. Others embrace it. Why are you helping me? The question bursts out before she can stop it. You don't know me. I accidentally texted your employee. You could have ignored it, and none of this would be your problem. Han is quiet for a long moment. Then, because Volkov is using my organization's contacts without authorization, because Elias committed fraud that could draw attention to people I'm paid to keep out of the spotlight, and because, he pauses, eyes flicking to her belly, because I have limits, Ms. Hart, and preying on pregnant women crosses them. It's the most human thing he said all evening. So what? Now? Elowen asks. The property is already transferred. The money is gone. What can we possibly do? Han leans back and something shifts in his expression from sympathetic stranger to calculating strategist. We find out what Volkov is really planning. We gather evidence of the fraud, and we make Elias Cross regret the day he decided to use you. How? By doing what I do best, Ms. Hart. Han's smile is sharp and cold and absolutely terrifying. By becoming the problem he can't make disappear. Elowen wakes up on a sofa that's not hers, in a suite that smells like expensive cologne and leather. For one blissful moment she forgets. Then it crashes back. The wedding, the abandonment, the fraud. $8 million stolen with her own forged signature. She sits up slowly, hand on her belly. The baby shifts, pressing against her ribs. At least someone still needs her. You're awake. She jumps. Han stands by the windows, silhouetted against the morning light. He's changed. Clothes, still all black, still expensive, but more casual now. Dark jeans, a fitted t-shirt that shows the full extent of his tattoos down both arms. Without the suit, he looks younger, and somehow more dangerous. What time is it? Her voice comes out rough. 6 a.m. You slept 4 hours. He turns and she notices he's holding a phone. Your friend Maya has called 17 times. She's threatening to file a missing persons report. Guilt crashes through her. God, I need to call her back. Do you trust her? The question stops Elowen cold. What? Your friend Maya? Do you trust her completely? Would she tell anyone where you are if they asked? If they seemed concerned? If they offered money? Maya would never, but Elowen stops. Because until yesterday, she would have said Elias would never abandon her, never steal from her, never sell her grandmother's property to criminals. I don't know, she admits quietly. Han nods as if this is the answer he expected. Then, we don't tell her anything specific. You can call her, tell her you're safe, but no details, no locations, no names. You think Elias might go after my friends. I think Elias is currently scrambling to cover his tracks, and desperate people make violent decisions. Han crosses to where she sits, holding out her phone. Call her. Be brief. Be vague. Elowen takes the phone with trembling hands. Maya answers on the first ring. Elowen. Oh my God, I've been losing my mind. Are you okay? Where are you? I went to your apartment and you weren't there, and the wedding venue said you left hours ago, and Maya, breathe. Elowen forces calm into her voice. I'm okay. I'm safe. Safe where? What happened with Elias? Did he show up? He didn't show up. Saying it out loud makes it real again, makes the betrayal fresh. And I can't explain everything right now, but I need you to trust me. I'm somewhere safe, figuring things out. Figuring what out? You're scaring me. Just tell me where you are and I'll come get you. Elowen looks at Han, who shakes his head firmly. I can't. Not yet. But I promise I'll call you soon. I just need a little time. Time for what? Maya's voice cracks. You were supposed to get married yesterday. You're 8 months pregnant. Whatever Elias did, we can figure it out together. Just come home. Home. The word aches. Elowen looks around the sterile luxury of Han's suite, at this strange man who's promised to help her, at the life she thought she had burning down around her. I will, she lies. Soon. I love you, Maya. She hangs up before Maya can protest further. Han takes the phone back, immediately removing the battery. She'll be able to track you through cell towers otherwise. You're very paranoid. I'm alive. Han sets the phone components on the desk, which is more than I can say for people who underestimate men like Volkov. Elowen shivers despite the suite's comfortable temperature. So what's the plan? First, breakfast. You need to eat. Han gestures to the dining table where room service has apparently appeared while she slept. Scrambled eggs, toast, fruit, orange juice. Then we go through every interaction you've had with Elias in the past year. Every person he introduced you to, every document he had you sign, everything. Looking for what? Patterns, connections, proof. Han pulls out a chair for her. Such a strangely gentlemanly gesture from a man who just dismantled her phone like a spy. Volkov and Elias didn't plan this overnight. There will be breadcrumbs. We find them. We find leverage. Elowen sits, looking at the food. Her stomach rebels at the thought of eating, but she forces down a bite of toast for the baby's sake. And then we confront your fiancé, and we make him tell us everything. The certainty in Han's voice should comfort her. Instead, it terrifies her, because she's starting to understand that Han Seung-jun doesn't make empty promises. And when he says, make him tell us, she's fairly certain he doesn't mean asking nicely. 3 hours later, Elowen sits surrounded by printouts, screenshots, and a growing sense of horror. This one, she says, pointing to a photo on Han's laptop. That's Steven. Elias introduced him as a college friend. We had dinner with him about 6 months ago. Han zooms in on the face. His expression doesn't change, but his typing becomes sharper, more aggressive. After a moment, he turns the screen toward her. Steven Kozlov, Volkov's nephew, currently under investigation for wire fraud in 3 states. Of course he is. Elowen's laugh is brittle. She picks up another photo, this one from her own phone, a charity gala from last fall. And this woman? Jennifer something. She said she ran a nonprofit for at-risk youth. More typing. Jennifer Marks, front for a money laundering operation. The nonprofit exists on paper only. Han's eyes meet hers. Every person Elias introduced you to was part of this network. He was building a web around you, Ms. Hart, making sure you seemed connected to their world if anyone looked closely. So when the fraud was discovered, I'd look complicit. The pieces click together with sickening clarity. Not just a victim, a co-conspirator. Exactly. Your signatures on the paperwork, your presence at their events, your connections to their associates. It all creates reasonable doubt that you were unknowing. Elowen presses her palms against her eyes, trying to stop the building pressure behind them. I'm so stupid. How did I not see it? Because you're not a criminal, and you trusted someone you loved. Han's voice is gentler than she expects. That's not stupidity. That's humanity. Humanity that cost me $8 million and might cost me my freedom. Not if we act first. Elowen lowers her hands. Han is watching her with that calculating intensity again, the one that makes her feel like he's reading a blueprint of her soul. Act how? She asks. Han closes the laptop with deliberate care. Then he stands, moving to the windows, hands in his pockets. The morning light catches the edges of his tattoos, making the ink seem to move. Volkov and Elias think you're neutralized, he says, voice low. Abandoned, broke, pregnant, alone. They think you'll spend weeks or months trying to figure out what happened through legal channels. By the time you do, the property will be sold, the money laundered, and the connections severed. Right. So we don't give them weeks. We give them hours. Han turns, and there's something predatory in his smile. We make them think you're still playing the victim, and then we take everything from them. How? By doing what they did to you, by using their own tactics against them. Han crosses back to her, sitting on the edge of the desk. I have resources they don't know I have. People who owe me favors. Information they think is hidden. You want to steal from them. I want to destroy them. The correction is quiet, but absolute. Stealing is just the beginning. Elowen should be horrified, should refuse, should tell this dangerous stranger that she doesn't solve problems with crime, but all she can think about is Elias's text. She won't be a problem. All she can see is her grandmother's land, the creek where she learned to fish, the barn where she read books in the hayloft, the porch where her grandmother taught her to shell peas, being used for trafficking, for death. What do you need from me? She asks. Han's eyes search her face. Are you sure? Once we start this, there's no going back. You'll be complicit in ways that I'm already complicit. They made sure of that. Elowen stands, steadying herself with one hand on the chair. The only question is whether I'm a victim or a survivor. So tell me, what do you need? Something like respect flickers across Han's features. First, I need you to call Elias. Her stomach drops. What? Call him. Tell him you're devastated, confused, that you found the deed transfer and you don't understand what happened. Play the heartbroken fiancé. I don't have to play it. I'm heartbroken. Good. Use that. Han pulls out his own phone, tapping through screens. I'll record the call. With his response, we'll know how desperate he is, how closely Volkov is watching him, whether they think you're truly in the dark. And if he doesn't answer, then we know he's already trying to disappear, which means we have even less time. Han holds out his phone. Use this. It's untraceable. He won't know where you're calling from. Elowen takes the phone. It's heavier than hers. All black metal and encrypted screens. The weight of it feels like a weapon. What do I say? Whatever comes naturally. But don't mention me. Don't mention Volkov by name. Just be the woman he left behind, trying to understand. Han's eyes lock on hers. And Ms. Hart, remember that? He stole 8 months of your life, your money, and your property. He used your pregnancy as cover. He planned to make you a criminal. Whatever sympathy you feel, he doesn't deserve it. The words settle into her bones like ice. She dials Elias's number with shaking fingers. It rings once, twice, 3 times. Then, hello? His voice, casual, confused, like nothing's wrong, like he didn't destroy her life yesterday. Elias. Her voice cracks perfectly and she doesn't have to fake it. It's me. Silence on the other end. She can hear him breathing, can imagine his mind racing. Elowen. He sounds surprised. Actually surprised, the bastard. Where are you? Does it matter? Tears come easily, born of genuine betrayal. You left me, Elias. At our wedding. You didn't even call. Didn't explain. I stood there for 2 hours waiting for you. I know. God, El, I know, and I'm so sorry. Something came up. Something with work, and Work? Her laugh is jagged. You abandoned your pregnant fiancé at the altar because of work? It's complicated. There are things happening that I can't explain right now, but I need you to trust me, trust you. Elias, the money is gone. Our entire savings account is empty. And this morning I got an email about my grandmother's property, about a deed transfer I don't remember signing. She lets her voice rise, hysteria creeping in. What's happening? What did you do? Another pause. Longer this time. When Elias speaks again, his voice is different. Colder. Where did you get that email, Elowen? The question sends ice down her spine. Not what email or I don't know what you're talking about. Just where did you get it? Han, watching her face, nods slowly. They both hear the admission in those words. It was in my inbox, she says carefully. From some title company. Elias, please, just tell me what's going on. I can help fix it if you need to stop looking into this. His voice drops to barely above a whisper. Elowen, I'm serious. Delete that email. Don't talk to anyone about it. Don't go to the police. Just forget you saw it. Forget I saw it? It's my grandmother's land. It's worth millions. And if you try to fight this, you'll lose more than property. He sounds genuinely afraid now, and some part of her, the part that loved him, wants to comfort that fear. These people don't play games. They'll come after you. He stops abruptly. They'll what, Elias? Nothing, just please. For the baby's sake, let this go. He hangs up. Elowen stands frozen. Han's phone still pressed to her ear, listening to dead air. Well, Han says quietly, taking the phone back. Now we know. Know what? He's terrified, which means Volkov has something on him. Probably threatened him, maybe his family. Han's fingers fly across his phone, presumably saving the recording. But more importantly, he warned you off, which means he knows you're a threat if you investigate. He said, these people, plural. How many are involved in this? That's what we're going to find out. Han stands, grabbing his jacket from the chair, and then we're going to make them all pay. Where are we going? Han's smile is sharp as broken glass. To meet someone who owes me a very large favor, someone with access to financial records that don't officially exist. That sounds illegal. It is. Are you coming? Elowen looks at her belly, at the life she's responsible for protecting. Then she thinks about Elias's voice. Let this go, for the baby's sake. Yes, she says. I'm coming. The restaurant is the kind of place Elowen would have loved in another life. Exposed brick, Edison bulbs, a menu printed on thick cardstock with descriptions like pan-seared with artisanal reduction. The Sunday evening crowd is the usual mix of young professionals and older couples. Everyone dressed just a bit too carefully. Everyone trying just a bit too hard. Elowen sits in a corner booth, wedding ring still on her finger, wearing clothes Han had delivered to the hotel. Expensive things in the right size that she doesn't want to think about how he obtained. The navy wrap dress hides her belly somewhat, makes her look almost normal. Almost. Han sits beside her, close enough that their shoulders touch. To anyone watching, they could be a couple. The thought makes her uncomfortable in ways she doesn't want to examine. He's late, she murmurs. He'll come. Han's voice is certain. You said you'd explain everything, that you weren't angry, just confused. Men like Elias can't resist the chance to control the narrative. And if he brings back up, if Volkov or one of his people... Look at the bar. Elowen glances over. Two men in dark suits nurse drinks, not talking, just watching. They look like they could be waiting for a table, but something about their stillness, their positioning, marks them as Han's. You brought guards. I brought insurance. Han's hand rests on the table near hers. Close, but not touching. Whatever happens, you're safe. I promise. Before she can respond, the restaurant door opens. Elias walks in. Elowen's breath catches. He looks different from yesterday. Rumpled, unshaven, dark circles under his eyes. His suit is the same one he was supposed to wear to the wedding. He hasn't even changed. Their eyes meet across the restaurant. For a moment, something flickers in his expression. Guilt, maybe, or regret. Then it's gone, replaced by the careful charm she knows so well. He walks to their booth and his gaze finally lands on Han. The change is instant. Fear, quickly masked, but unmistakable. Who the hell is this? Elias asks, voice tight. Sit down, Mr. Cross. Han's tone is conversational, but there's steel underneath. Or should I call you Mr. Hartman? I understand you've used both names recently. Elias goes pale. He looks at Elowen, betrayal in his eyes, as if she's the one who wronged him. You brought someone? I told you this was dangerous. I told you to let it go. Sit down. Han doesn't raise his voice, but something in his delivery makes Elias slide into the booth opposite them. A waiter approaches, sensing tension but too professional to acknowledge it. Can I get you folks started with drinks? Water's fine, Elowen manages. Same for everyone, Han says smoothly. And perhaps some privacy? We're discussing a sensitive business matter. The waiter nods and retreats. Elias leans forward, keeping his voice low. Elowen, listen to me very carefully. Whoever this man is, whatever he's told you, you need to leave with me right now. These people, Han interrupts. You mean Marcus Volkov, Stephen Kozlov, Jennifer Marks, the entire network you introduced Ms. Hart to while stealing her property? I don't know what, don't. The single word cuts like a blade. Han pulls out his phone, setting it on the table. We have the recorded call from this morning. We have the deed transfer with your forged notary signature. We have evidence linking you to money laundering operations in 4 states. So please, Mr. Cross, don't insult our intelligence by lying. Elias's jaw works. His eyes flick to the men at the bar, to the exits, calculating his options. Who are you? He finally asks Han. Someone who doesn't appreciate his organization being used without permission. Someone who's very unhappy that you've drawn attention to certain operations by involving an innocent civilian. Han leans back, the picture of casual menace. Someone you should be very afraid of. Volkov will kill you, Elias says. Both of you. He has people everywhere. You think you're safe here? I think Marcus Volkov is currently under surveillance by 3 different law enforcement agencies, and the last thing he needs is more heat. Han's smile is cold. I think you promised him clean property for his Montana operation, and now that property is contested, I think you're the weak link in his chain, Elias. And weak links get cut. Elias turns to Elowen, desperation bleeding through his facade. Please. I did this for us. The debts I had, the people I owed, they would have killed me. I needed money fast, and your grandmother's land, it was just sitting there. You never even visited. You thought you could steal my inheritance, abandon me pregnant, and frame me as your accomplice? Elowen's voice shakes with rage. For the baby's sake? For us? I was going to come back, Elias insists. Once the heat died down, once Volkov had what he needed, I was going to what? Pretend none of this happened? Raise our child on stolen money? Our child! Elias's eyes drop to her belly and something shifts in his expression. Is the baby even mine? The question hangs in the air like poison. Elowen feels Han stiffen beside her, feels the rage radiating off him in waves. Excuse me? Her voice comes out deadly quiet. I mean, you moved on pretty fast. Elias gestures to Han. One day after I leave, you're with some gangster? How do I know? He doesn't finish the sentence. Han moves faster than Elowen can track. One moment he's sitting calmly. The next, his hand is wrapped around Elias's wrist, pressing it into the table with controlled violence. The angle is wrong, painful, just shy of breaking. You're going to apologize, Han says softly, to Ms. Hart for that question, and then you're going to tell us exactly what Volkov is planning. I can't. Elias's voice cracks. He'll kill my family. My parents, my sister. He knows where they live. He showed me pictures of their houses, their routines. If I talk, then they die anyway. Han releases Elias's wrist, but doesn't lean back. You think Volkov keeps loose ends alive? The moment that property transaction completes, the moment he's done with you, you and your family become liabilities. Your only chance is to help us take him down first. You can't take him down. He has judges, police, politicians. He has corruption. I have power. Han's eyes are black and absolute. The question is whether you die trying to protect a man who's already planning to eliminate you, or whether you save yourself and your family by giving me what I need. Elowen watches Elias's face. The calculation, the fear, the slow realization that he's trapped. What do you want to know? He whispers. Han pulls out a small recording device, setting it beside his phone. Everything. Start with when Volkov first approached you. And Elias starts talking. He talks for 20 minutes. About gambling debts that spiraled. About Volkov's people finding him, offering a way out. About the plan to use Elowen's property for a drug processing facility hidden as a wilderness retreat. About the bribes paid, the documents forged, the timeline. With every word, Elowen feels the life she thought she had crumble further. The closing is scheduled for Wednesday, Elias finishes. Volkov's buyers are ready. Once the property transfers to them, I get paid, the debts are cleared, and I disappear. Mexico, probably. New name, new life. And me? Elowen asks. What happens to me in this plan? Elias won't meet her eyes. You were supposed to be too confused and overwhelmed to investigate quickly. By the time you figured it out and got a lawyer, weeks would have passed. The trail would be cold. And if I figured it out faster? Silence. Elias! Her voice hardens. What were Volkov's instructions if I became a problem too quickly? I don't know. He said he'd handle it. That's all. Handle it. Elowen's hand moves to her belly protectively. You mean kill me? He wouldn't. But Elias's protest dies when he sees their faces. I didn't think you'd figure it out. I thought you'd just grieve. Move on. You're strong, El. You'd have been fine. The audacity of it steals her breath. Get out, she says. What? Get out of this restaurant, out of this city. Disappear to Mexico or wherever the hell you were planning. Elowen's voice is ice. Because if I see you again, if you come near me or my child, I will destroy you in ways that make Volkov look like a saint. Elias looks at Han, who nods slowly. She means it, and I'll help her do it. The recording, Elias says desperately. You have what you need. Please just go. Han's single word carries the weight of a guillotine. Elias stumbles out of the booth, backing away from the table like they might change their minds. At the door, he looks back once. Elowen meets his gaze with absolute coldness. Then he's gone. The waiter approaches cautiously. Is everything all right? Your friend left without ordering. Everything's fine, Han says, handing him a credit card. Just the waters, and a generous tip for your discretion. When they're alone again, Elowen realizes she's shaking, not with fear, with rage. He called you a gangster, she says. Is that what you are? Han considers the question. Among other things. Does it matter? Yesterday it would have. Elowen looks at him, really looks at him, at the tattoos that mark him as dangerous, at the controlled violence in every movement, at the power that radiates from him like heat. Today, I'm just grateful you're on my side. I'm on your side, Han confirms quietly, until this is finished, until you're safe. And then you decide what happens next. His eyes hold hers. But first, we stop Volkov. Wednesday is 3 days away. We have 72 hours to destroy his operation, recover your property, and make sure he can't touch you or your child. How? Han's smile is dangerous and beautiful. By giving the evidence to someone even Volkov's corruption can't reach. By making this so public, so documented, that killing you would be suicide. Who? The FBI, but not just any agent. Han stands, offering his hand. A woman who's been trying to take down Volkov for 3 years. Someone who'll love the gift we're about to give her. Elowen takes his hand, letting him help her up. As they walk past the bar, the 2 guards fall into step behind them. Protection, insurance, the weight of Han's world settling around her like armor. And for the first time since standing at that altar, Elowen doesn't feel like a victim. She feels like a survivor. The FBI field office smells like burnt coffee and bureaucracy. Special Agent Rebecca Torres sits across from Elowen and Han in an interview room that's seen better decades. She's younger than Elowen expected, mid-30s maybe, with sharp eyes and the kind of exhaustion that comes from fighting battles no one wants you to win. Let me get this straight, Torres says, rewinding the recording for the 3rd time. Elias Cross, also known as Elias Hartman, confessed to defrauding you of property worth $8 million. Property he intended to sell to Marcus Volkov for use in drug trafficking operations. And you recorded this confession while having dinner with, her eyes flick to Han, a concerned friend? That's correct, Han says smoothly. Torres' expression suggests she knows exactly what kind of friend Han is, but she doesn't push it yet. And you came forward because? She prompts Elowen. Because I'm 8 months pregnant, and I don't want my child growing up with a criminal for a mother. Elowen's voice is steady, rehearsed. Han coached her on exactly what to say. When I discovered what Elias had done with my signature, I realized I could be charged as an accessory. I wanted to cooperate before that happened. It's a good story. Believable. The kind of thing that makes her look like a victim instead of someone working with a crime boss to take down another crime boss. Torres studies her for a long moment. Ms. Hart, you understand that if we move on this information, you'll need to testify. You'll be a witness in a federal case against one of the most dangerous men in organized crime. There will be threats. Attempts at intimidation, maybe worse. I understand. And you, Torres turns to Han, are willing to testify as well about how you came to be involved? I'm willing to provide a written statement, Han says carefully. My business interests make public testimony complicated, but I can corroborate Ms. Hart's story and provide additional evidence of Volkov's operations. Translation: Han won't expose his own criminal network, but he'll give Torres enough to make the case without him. Torres leans back, fingers steepled. I've been after Volkov for 3 years. Every time I get close, witnesses disappear. Evidence vanishes. Judges suddenly recuse themselves. This recording, she taps it, is the first real break I've had, but it's not enough. Elias is a middleman. To take down Volkov, I need the property transaction. The buyers, the full paper trail. What if I told you I could get you that? Han asks. I'd ask how. Then I'd remind you that illegally obtained evidence isn't admissible in court. What if the evidence was obtained by Ms. Hart, who has every legal right to investigate fraud committed against her? Torres's lips quirk. That would be different. Elowen looks between them. What are you talking about? Your signature was forged, Han says, which means the deed transfer is fraudulent. which means you have legal standing to request documentation of the entire transaction, buyer information, transfer dates, everything. They'll refuse, they're criminals. They'll have to provide it if the request comes through a lawyer, and if they refuse, that refusal is evidence of fraud. Han turns to Torres. You could get a warrant based on that, search the title company, seize their records. Everything Volkov thought was hidden would be exposed. Torres considers this. You have a lawyer who'd make that request? Who won't ask too many questions about your involvement? I have several. Han's smile is cold, some of them even legitimate. I'll need the name of the title company, the transaction number, everything in that email you mentioned. Elowen pulls out her phone, the reassembled one Han finally gave back, and forwards the email to Torres. As Torres reads, her expression shifts from professional interest to genuine excitement. Mountain Ridge Holdings. I know that LLC. We've suspected it's a Volkov front for months, but we couldn't prove the connection. She looks up. You just handed me probable cause. So you can stop him? Elowen asks. Before Wednesday, I can freeze the transaction, file an injunction, get a judge to halt the sale pending fraud investigation. Torres stands. But Ms. Hart, you need to understand. This makes you a target. Volkov doesn't respond well to obstacles. She'll be protected, Han says, by you. It's not a question. Torres studies him with frank assessment. Who are you, really? Korean mob? Yakuza affiliate? Independent operator? Does it matter? It matters if you're planning to kill Volkov yourself, because I need him alive and in prison, not dead in a ditch. I'm not planning to kill anyone. Han stands as well, buttoning his jacket. I'm planning to protect Ms. Hart and ensure justice is served. What happens to Volkov after that is your concern, not mine. Torres looks like she wants to argue, but her phone buzzes. She checks it, and something shifts in her expression. Excuse me a moment. She steps into the hallway. Alone with Han, Elowen lets out a shaky breath. Is she going to arrest you? No. She needs me more than she dislikes me. Han's hand finds her shoulder, warm and grounding. You did well. The testimony was perfect. I don't feel perfect. I feel like I'm going to throw up again. That's just pregnancy. That's terror. But she manages a weak smile. What happens now? Now. Torres moves fast before Volkov realizes what's happening. The injunction will freeze everything. You'll get your property back. Han's eyes search her face. And then you'll be free to rebuild your life. There's something final in the way he says it. Like goodbye. And you? Elowen asks. What happens to you? I go back to my world. You go back to yours. Just like that? Just like that. Elowen wants to argue, wants to say that she doesn't have a world to go back to, that everything she knew is gone. But Torres returns before she can form the words. Good news, the agent says. I just got off the phone with a federal judge. Based on this evidence, we're moving immediately. Injunction will be filed within the hour. By midnight, that property sale will be frozen, and Volkov will be scrambling. And Ms. Hart? Han asks. Protective custody if she wants it, or private security if she prefers. Torres's eyes flick between them, though I'm guessing she already has security. Arranged. She does, Han confirms. Torres nods slowly. Then we're done here. Ms. Hart, I'll need you available for follow-up questions and eventual testimony, but for now, you're free to go. They leave the FBI building into a cold night. Snow falls again. It's been snowing since yesterday, like the world is trying to bury her old life under fresh white powder. Han's car waits at the curb. The same two guards from the restaurant stand nearby, watchful. I'll take you back to the hotel, Han says. Or to your friend Maya's if you'd rather. Han. Elowen stops walking. Why are you really helping me? He's quiet for a long moment, snowflakes gathering in his dark hair. I told you. Volkov used my contacts without permission. It's bad for business. That's not the whole truth. No, he admits. It's not. Then what is? Han looks at her, really looks at her, the way he did that first night in the hotel lobby. Like he's seen past the wedding dress and the pregnancy and the betrayal, seeing something essential underneath. My sister, he says finally, the pediatrician in Seoul, she was pregnant 2 years ago. Her husband was involved with people like Volkov. When she found out, when she tried to leave, they came after her. His jaw tightens. She lost the baby, nearly lost her life. Han, I wasn't there to protect her. I was building my empire, consolidating power, making money, and while I was busy being important, my baby sister almost died. He looks away. So when I saw you standing in that hotel lobby, pregnant and desperate and abandoned, I thought maybe I could do for you what I failed to do for her. Redemption, Elowen whispers. Something like that. Han's smile is sad. Selfish, really. Helping you helps me sleep better at night. Elowen reaches out without thinking, her hand finding his. It's not selfish. You saved me, my baby, everything. I just made phone calls and knew the right people. You gave me my power back. Her grip tightens. You made me stop being a victim and start being a survivor. That's everything. They stand like that in the falling snow, connected by touch and trauma and something neither of them wants to name. Then Han's phone buzzes. He checks it, and his expression darkens. What is it? A message from one of my contacts. Volkov knows about the FBI meeting. He knows you talked. Fear spikes through her. How? He probably has people watching Torres. Or Torres has a leak in her office. Han's hand tightens on his phone. Either way, we need to move you. Now. Move me where? Somewhere Volkov can't reach. Somewhere safe until this is over. Han opens the car door. Get in. We don't have much time. Elowen slides into the back seat, mind racing. Behind her, the FBI building glows with fluorescent light. Inside, Torres is probably filing that injunction, seizing records, building her case. And somewhere in the city, Marcus Volkov is planning his response. The safe house is nothing like Han's hotel suite. It's a modest townhouse in a quiet suburb, the kind of place where neighbors wave at each other and kids ride bikes after school. Generic furniture, beige walls, a refrigerator stocked with practical food instead of gourmet luxuries. It's one of several properties I maintain, Han explains, locking the door behind them with 3 separate deadbolts. No connection to my name, no digital footprint. As far as any record shows, this house doesn't exist. Elowen sinks onto the plain brown sofa. The adrenaline is wearing off now, leaving her exhausted and shaky. How long do I have to stay here? 2 days, maybe 3, until Torres makes the arrest and Volkov's organization is fractured. Han moves through the house with practiced efficiency, checking windows, testing locks. My people will watch the perimeter. No one gets in without going through them first. You can't stay? He pauses. It's better if I'm visible. Elsewhere. If Volkov's people are watching me, I want them to think I've moved on to other business. That you were just a brief diversion. Right. Of course. Elowen tries to keep the disappointment from her voice. She has no right to want him here. He's done more than enough already, but Han crosses to where she sits, crouching so they're eye level. I'll come back tonight and tomorrow. I won't leave you alone, Elowen. I promise. The use of her first name, the first time he said it without the formal Ms. Hart, sends warmth through her chest. Okay, she whispers. His hand reaches out, hesitates, then gently touches her belly. The baby kicks immediately, as if responding to his presence. Han's expression transforms. The cold calculation melts away, replaced by wonder. She's strong. She? Or he? Either way, strong. His thumb traces a small circle where the baby kicked. What will you name them? I don't know. I'd been planning names with Elias, but now those all feel contaminated, like everything else he touched. Elowen covers Han's hand with her own. Maybe something new, a fresh start. Fresh starts are good, but there's something sad in his voice. Han, when this is over, you go back to your life. Build the future you deserve. Raise your child somewhere safe and normal. He stands, pulling away. That's the plan. What if I don't want normal? You do. You just don't know it yet. Han moves toward the door. There's food in the kitchen, extra clothes in the bedroom upstairs. My number is programmed into the phone on the counter. It's clean, untraceable. Call if you need anything. Han, wait! But he's already at the door, hand on the knob. There's something you should know, he says without turning, about why I really recognize Volkov's name when you first called, why this became personal beyond just unauthorized use of my contacts. Elowen stands carefully. What? Volkov killed my father 8 years ago during a territory dispute. Shot him in front of his own restaurant. Han's voice is flat, emotionless, in that way that means the emotion is too big to let out. I've been waiting years for the right moment to destroy him. You gave me that moment. So this was revenge for you all along. At first, yes, but then he finally turns, and the look in his eyes steals her breath. Then it became about you, about keeping you safe, about making sure your child doesn't grow up without a mother the way I grew up without a father. I'm sorry, Elowen whispers, about your father, about all of it. Don't be. He chose this life, knew the risks. Han's smile is bitter. I chose it too, but you didn't. Your child won't. That matters. He leaves before she can respond. The door closes. Locks engage. And Elowen is alone with her thoughts and her unborn child and the growing realization that somewhere in the past 3 days she's developed feelings for a man she shouldn't want. A man who's dangerous and criminal and completely wrong for her. A man who makes her feel safer than anyone ever has. She spends the afternoon trying to rest, but sleep won't come. Every sound makes her jump. Every car passing outside could be Volkov's people. The baby shifts restlessly, picking up on her anxiety. At 7 p.m., her phone rings. The clean phone Han left. She answers. Hello? It's me. Han's voice and some of the tension drains from her shoulders. Torres just called. The injunction is filed. Property sale is frozen. Volkov's lawyer is furious, which means we hit the right nerve. That's good news. It is. But there's more. Torres raided the title company an hour ago. Found evidence linking Volkov to 7 other fraudulent property transfers. This is bigger than we thought. Meaning Volkov is going down hard, but also meaning he's desperate. Desperate men make violent choices. A pause. How are you holding up? I'm okay. Scared. Tired. Normal pregnancy stuff plus attempted murder, you know. His laugh is soft. I'll be there in an hour. Bringing dinner. You don't have to. I want to. Italian okay? There's a place nearby that delivers. Italian's fine. Thank you, Han. Don't thank me yet. Wait until you taste the food. He hangs up and Elowen finds herself smiling at the phone like a teenager. This is insane. She's 8 months pregnant, hiding from the Russian Mafia, cooperating with the FBI, and developing feelings for a Korean crime boss who's helping her out of guilt over his dead father and injured sister. This is the opposite of the life she planned, and yet, somehow, it feels more real than anything she had with Elias. When Han arrives an hour later with bags of food and that careful smile, Elowen realizes the truth she's been avoiding. She's in trouble. The life-threatening, Volkov kind of trouble, yes, but also the falling for the wrong man kind, and she's not sure which one scares her more. 3 days later, Elowen stands in Agent Torres' office watching through one-way glass as Marcus Volkov is led away in handcuffs. He's smaller than she imagined. Older. Just a man in an expensive suit who thought he could steal her grandmother's land and use it for death. 7 counts of fraud, 4 counts of money laundering, 2 counts of racketeering, Torres says beside her, satisfaction thick in her voice. He'll die in prison. His entire organization is collapsing as we speak. 23 arrests in the past 48 hours. And Elias? Still in the wind. But we've frozen his accounts, flagged his passport. He won't get far. Torres turns to her. You did good, Ms. Hart. Your testimony made this possible. I had help. Speaking of which, Torres' expression shifts. Your friend Han. He disappeared right after his written statement. My people tried to follow up, but it's like he never existed. All his contact information went dead. Elowen's heart sinks. Oh, you expected that? I don't know what I expected. But that's a lie. She expected him to stay. Expected him to be there when this was over. Expected what? A future with a crime boss? A relationship built on trauma and revenge? Here. Torres slides a folder across her desk. Property deed. Back in your name. The fraudulent transfer has been voided. Your grandmother's land is yours again. Elowen opens the folder, seeing the official documents, the corrected deed. $8 million worth of Montana wilderness. Her inheritance, her child's future. It should feel like victory. Instead, it feels hollow. What will you do now? Torres asks. I don't know. Go back to work, I guess. Have this baby. Try to build something normal. Elowen touches her belly. Though I'm not sure I remember what normal feels like anymore. Normal is overrated anyway. Torres' smile is kind. You survived something most people couldn't. You fought back. That's better than normal. That's extraordinary. 2 weeks later, Elowen stands in her apartment, the same apartment she shared with Elias, though she's already begun erasing his presence. His clothes are gone, his photos removed. The space is becoming hers again, slowly. Maya sits on the sofa, folding tiny baby clothes from the shower she threw yesterday. I still can't believe you didn't tell me any of this while it was happening. I thought we were best friends. We are, but Han said. Elowen stops. She's been trying not to think about him, trying not to check her phone every 5 minutes, hoping for a message that never comes. This mysterious Han who saved you and then disappeared like a sexy ghost. Maya holds up a onesie that says, "Worth the wait." Are you going to tell me what he really was to you? He was someone who helped me when I needed it. Helped you? Elle, from what you've told me, the man orchestrated a federal takedown, kept you safe from the Russian Mafia, and made your asshole ex-fiancé confess to everything. That's not helping. That's... A knock at the door interrupts her. Elowen's heart jumps. It's probably just a delivery, or a neighbor, or... She opens the door. Hans stands in the hallway. He looks different than she remembers. Less polished, more human, still dangerous, still marked with those tattoos, but tired in a way that makes him seem vulnerable. "Hi," he says. "Hi." Elowen's voice comes out breathy. "You disappeared. I know, I thought..." He stops, runs a hand through his hair. "I thought it would be easier for you if I left. Cleaner. But then I realized I never asked you what you wanted. What I wanted. Whether you wanted me to stay away, or whether..." He looks past her into the apartment, where Maya is very obviously eavesdropping. "Can we talk? Privately?" Elowen glances back at Maya, who makes enthusiastic go-go gestures. "Let me get my coat." They end up at a coffee shop 2 blocks away. Neutral territory. Safe. Han orders them both decaf. He remembers she's pregnant, remembers the details, and they sit by the window watching the city move past. "Volkov's organization is finished," Han says. "Torres did what she promised, and I've restructured some of my own operations, made them cleaner, legal even, in most cases. Because of me? Because of you." His eyes meet hers. "Because I realized that the life I was living, the things I was doing, they weren't worth it if they meant I couldn't be around someone like you." Elowen's throat tightens. "Han, I'm 8.5 months pregnant with another man's child. I'm broke. Well, property rich, but cash poor. I'm probably going to be in and out of court for months, dealing with the fallout of Elias's fraud. I'm a disaster. You're a survivor." He reaches across the table, taking her hand. "You're strong and brave, and you fought back when most people would have crumbled. You're extraordinary, Elowen. And he falters. "I'd like the chance to be in your life, if you'll let me." "In what capacity?" "Whatever capacity you want. Friend, protector, eventually maybe something more. But only if that's what you want. Only if I'm not another complication you don't need." Elowen looks at their joined hands, his scarred knuckles against her smooth skin, his dangerous past meeting her uncertain future. "You're definitely a complication," she says. "But maybe I'm done with simple. Simple got me Elias. Simple got me betrayed and abandoned. And complicated? Complicated saved my life." She squeezes his hand. "I don't know what this is, Han. I don't know if it can work or if it's just trauma bonding or what. But I know I want to find out." His smile transforms his face. "Yeah? Yeah. But slowly, and with a lot of therapy probably, and understanding that I have a baby coming in 2 weeks who has to be my priority. I wouldn't want it any other way." Han stands, pulling her up with him. "Come on, I want to show you something." "Show me what?" "A surprise." They take a cab to a quiet neighborhood Elowen doesn't recognize. Tree-lined streets, tidy houses with gardens and swing sets. Han stops in front of a charming 2-story with a blue door and flower boxes in the windows. "What is this?" Elowen asks. "A house, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, garden in back, good school district, safe neighborhood." He pulls out a key. "I bought it last week. Thought maybe you'd like to see it. No pressure, but if you're looking for a fresh start somewhere with no memories of Elias, you bought me a house. I bought a house that could be yours if you want it or not. It's in a trust, legally yours regardless of whether you use it. Consider it back payment for the trouble I caused by being involved. You didn't cause trouble, you saved me. Then consider it a gift from someone who cares about you and wants you to be safe." He opens the door. "Want to look inside?" The house is perfect, bright, and airy with good bones for her design instincts. A nursery that already has a crib assembled, Han's work obviously, a kitchen with modern appliances, a backyard with a swing and room to grow. Elowen stands in the empty living room, imagining furniture, imagining her child taking first steps on these floors, imagining a life built from ashes. "It's too much," she whispers. "It's not enough." Han moves behind her, not touching but close. You lost everything because of my world. Let me give you this, please. On one condition. Name it. You visit. Regularly. Help me paint the nursery. Meet my child. Be part of this life you're helping me build. That's 3 conditions. Take it or leave it. Han's laugh is warm against her ear. I'll take it. They stand like that in the empty house. 2 broken people building something new from their ruins. Outside, snow begins to fall again. But this time, it doesn't feel like burial. It feels like possibility. 3 weeks later, Elowen gives birth to a daughter. 7 pounds, healthy, with her mother's eyes and a fighter's spirit. She names her Sarah after her grandmother, Sarah Hart. No trace of Elias in the name or the birth certificate, just Elowen and her daughter, starting fresh. Han is there in the hospital waiting room. He brings flowers and practical gifts and holds Sarah with the careful reverence of someone who understands how fragile life is. Maya takes pictures of them. Elowen, exhausted but glowing, baby Sarah sleeping, Han looking at both of them like they're the most precious things he's ever seen. You know this is insane, right? Maya whispers to Elowen while Han changes Sarah's diaper with surprising competence. Former Mafia boss playing dad to your ex's baby? Current Mafia boss, Han corrects without looking up. I'm not fully reformed, just selective about my business partners now. That's not reassuring, Maya says. It's not meant to be. Han finishes the diaper and lifts Sarah, cradling her naturally. But I'd die before I let anything happen to either of them. Is that reassuring enough? It shouldn't be, but somehow it is. Elowen watches Han with her daughter and thinks about the twisted path that brought them here. The wedding that wasn't. The betrayal that saved her. The dangerous man who became her salvation. It's not the fairy tale she once imagined. It's better. It's real. And 3 months later, when Agent Torres calls to say that Elias Cross was apprehended trying to cross into Mexico, Elowen feels nothing. No satisfaction, no anger, just relief that the chapter is finally closed. She hangs up the phone and returns to the blue house, where Han is teaching Sarah to grab his finger, where Maya is making dinner in the kitchen, where her life has become something she never expected, but somehow always needed. The betrayal was real. The pain was real. But so is this. The family she's building from scattered pieces, the love that grew from ashes, the future that's finally truly hers. And when Han asks, 6 months later, if he can kiss her, asks, doesn't assume because he understands consent and timing, and that her yes matters more than anything, Elowen says yes. Says yes to complicated, says yes to dangerous, says yes to the man who saved her by teaching her to save herself. It's not the beginning she planned, but it's the beginning she deserves.